Have you ever looked at someone in their 70s or 80s and wondered why they still seem strong, steady, and independent, while other people the same age struggle just to get out of a chair? The answer might surprise you. And honestly, it may challenge something you've believed for years. If you're over 60 and you've been walking every day thinking that's all you need to stay strong, I want you to stay with me for a few minutes. As a healthcare professional, I've met countless older adults who do everything they believe they're supposed to do. They take walks, they stay busy, they try to keep moving. Yet somehow, year after year, they still feel weaker. Getting up from the couch feels harder. Carrying groceries feels heavier. Their balance isn't what it used to be. The truth is, walking is great for your heart. It's great for your mood. But when it comes to rebuilding strength after 60, it may not be enough by itself. Now, don't worry. This isn't about spending hours in a gym or lifting heavy weights. In fact, the two movements I'm going to share with you today are simple, practical, and backed by science. They're designed specifically for older adults who want to stay active, capable, and independent for as long as possible. And one of these exercises may be the most important movement you ever learn if your goal is to continue living life on your own terms for years to come. Welcome to the Senior Health Channel. If you're serious about protecting your strength, your balance, and your independence, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn could completely change the way you think about aging. One of the hardest things about getting older is that muscle loss doesn't happen all at once. It happens quietly. Most people don't wake up one morning and suddenly feel weak. Instead, it sneaks up on them. Maybe carrying groceries feels a little harder than it used to. Maybe climbing stairs leaves them more tired. Maybe they start using their hands to push themselves out of a chair without even realizing it. I've seen this happen with many patients over the years, and the scary part is that most people think it's just a normal part of aging. But here's what I want you to know. Losing strength may be common after 60, but that doesn't mean it's something you have to accept. Strength isn't just about muscles. It's about freedom. It's about being able to walk through your own front door, carrying your bags. It's about getting up from the floor if you fall. It's about keeping your independence and not having to rely on someone else for everyday tasks. What many people don't realize is that aging muscles can still grow. I've seen men and women in their 70s, 80s, even 90s become stronger than they were just months earlier. The body still knows how to rebuild. It never completely forgets. The real problem isn't age itself. The problem is that most people are giving their muscles the wrong signal. Everyday activities keep you moving, which is good, but they often don't challenge the muscles enough to tell them they need to stay strong. And when that signal disappears, strength slowly disappears too. The good news is that we can change that, starting today. Now, before anyone misunderstands me, I want to be very clear. Walking is one of the best things you can do for your overall health. I encourage my patients to walk whenever they can. It helps your heart, it improves circulation, it can boost your mood and keep you active. But here's the part most people never hear. Walking and building strength are not the same thing. I've met many adults in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who walk every single day. Yet they still struggle to get up from a low chair. They still feel unsteady on stairs. They still notice their legs getting weaker year after year. That happens because muscles are smart. They adapt to whatever you ask them to do. If you repeat the same low-effort movement day after day, eventually your muscles stop seeing it as a challenge. They become efficient, but they don't necessarily become stronger. Think of it this way. If you lift the same light grocery bag every day, your body gets used to it. It doesn't have much reason to build new muscle. The same thing can happen with walking. That's why so many active seniors are surprised when they still feel weak. The missing piece is resistance. Your muscles need a reason to stay strong. They need a signal that tells them they're still needed. And the first exercise I'm about to show you does exactly that. It's simple, safe, and for many older adults, it's where real strength starts coming back. Let's talk about the first exercise. It may look simple, but don't let that fool you. Over the years, I've learned that some of the most effective movements are often the ones people overlook. This one focuses on your upper body, and that's important because upper body strength affects far more of your daily life than most people realize. Think about how many times you push something during the day. You push yourself out of bed. You push open a heavy door. You push a shopping cart through the grocery store. Even getting up from a couch often requires pushing with your arms. When those muscles weaken, everyday tasks start feeling harder than they should. Here's how to do it. Stand facing a wall, about an arm's length away. Place your hands flat against the wall at shoulder height. Keep your body straight. Slowly bend your elbows and bring your chest toward the wall. Then push yourself back to the starting position. That's it. Start with 8 to 10 repetitions and repeat for a few sets. What I like about this movement is that it works several areas at once. Your chest, shoulders, arms, and even your core all have to work together. It also encourages better posture. Many older adults gradually begin rounding their shoulders without noticing it. Over time, that can affect balance and even make breathing feel less comfortable. This exercise helps pull your body back into a stronger position. In simple terms, when you place gentle stress on a muscle, it sends a message to the body saying, "I still need this muscle." That's what helps trigger rebuilding. I remember one woman in her 70s who started doing wall push-ups 3 times a week. A few weeks later, she told me she was carrying groceries more easily and standing taller without thinking about it. What stood out most wasn't the physical change. It was the confidence in her voice. She felt capable again. And sometimes, that's where real strength begins. Now, the first exercise helps rebuild upper body strength, and that's important. But if I'm being honest, the next movement is the one I worry about most when I see older adults starting to lose their independence. In fact, if there were only one exercise I could recommend for the rest of your life, this would be near the top of the list. Let me ask you something. Picture the chair you're sitting in right now. Could you stand up from it without using your hands? Take a second and think about that. Don't answer too quickly. Really picture yourself doing it. Because that simple action tells us more about your future mobility than most people realize. Over the years, I've seen patients who could still walk around the neighborhood every day, but struggled to stand up from a low chair. That's often one of the first warning signs that lower body strength is beginning to fade. And when that strength starts disappearing, everyday life becomes harder. Getting off the toilet, climbing stairs, getting out of a car, recovering from a stumble before it becomes a fall. The truth is, independence isn't usually lost overnight. It happens one small weakness at a time. That's why maintaining leg strength matters so much. Strong legs give you options. They give you confidence. They give you the ability to keep living life on your own terms. And the movement I'm about to show you targets exactly that. It's simple. Most people have done it thousands of times without thinking. But when done the right way, it becomes one of the most powerful tools for staying strong, steady, and independent for years to come. Now let's get to the exercise that I believe can make one of the biggest differences in how you move, feel, and live as you get older. It's called the sit to stand. The name sounds simple because it is simple, but don't underestimate it. This movement trains skills you use every single day, often without even thinking about them. Here's how to do it. Find a sturdy chair and sit near the front edge. Place your feet about shoulder width apart. Keep them flat on the floor. Lean your chest slightly forward, then push through your heels and stand up. Once you're standing tall, slowly lower yourself back down with control. Try not to drop into the chair. Let your muscles do the work. Start with 8 to 10 repetitions. Take your time. Quality matters much more than speed. What makes this exercise so powerful is that it trains the muscles that help keep you independent. Your glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, and calves all work together. These are the same muscles you rely on when climbing stairs, getting out of a car, stepping off a curb, or standing up from the toilet. In other words, you're not just exercising, you're practicing real life. Research has shown that older adults who regularly perform strength-focused movements like this can gain muscle, improve balance, and significantly reduce their risk of falls. And falls are not something we should take lightly. I've seen how one bad fall can change a person's life overnight. That's why prevention matters. I remember one gentleman in his late 70s who told me he always felt nervous getting up from low chairs. He would look around for something to grab before standing. After several weeks of practicing this movement consistently, he came into the clinic smiling. He said, For the first time in years, I stood up without thinking about it. That may sound like a small victory to some people, but to him, it meant freedom. It meant confidence. And that's exactly what we're trying to build here, strength that shows up when real life calls for it. Now, before you expect dramatic results overnight, I want to share the biggest mistake I see people make. And honestly, it has nothing to do with doing these exercises wrong. The real problem is that many people simply don't stick with them long enough. They try something for a week or two, don't notice a huge difference, and assume it isn't working. I've seen this happen over and over again. The truth is, your body doesn't rebuild strength in a few days. It happens gradually, quietly. Sometimes the first signs of progress are so small that you almost miss them. Maybe you get out of bed a little easier. Maybe your knees don't feel quite as stiff. Maybe you walk across a parking lot without feeling as tired. Those small changes matter more than most people realize. One thing I've learned from working with older adults is that consistency beats intensity almost every time. You don't need exhausting workouts. You don't need to push yourself until you're sore. What you need is a routine you can actually maintain. Something you can do this week, next week, and 6 months from now. Be patient with yourself. Your goal isn't to become the strongest person in the room. Your goal is to become a little stronger than you were yesterday. Those small improvements add up, week after week, month after month. And before you know it, the things that once felt difficult start feeling normal again. That's how real progress happens. Not through one big effort, but through many small efforts repeated consistently over time. Now, there's one thing I don't want you to overlook. Exercise is only part of the story. In fact, some people do all the right exercises and still wonder why they're not getting stronger. That's because muscle isn't built only when you're moving. A lot of the rebuilding happens afterward, when your body has the nutrients and recovery time it needs. One of the biggest things I talk about with older adults is protein. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at maintaining muscle. That means getting enough protein becomes even more important than it was when we were younger. You don't need anything fancy. Just make sure you're including good sources of protein throughout the day. Hydration matters too. I've seen many older adults underestimate how much water affects their energy, balance, and recovery. Even mild dehydration can leave you feeling weaker than you actually are. And then there's sleep. This is the one people often ignore. While you're sleeping, your body is doing repair work behind the scenes. Muscles recover. Tissues rebuild. Your system resets for the next day. If you're constantly short on sleep, you're making that process much harder. I also want to remind you of something important. At this stage of life, don't focus on how you look. Focus on what you can do. Can you get up from a chair more easily? Can you carry groceries with less effort? Can you walk farther without needing to stop? Those are the victories that matter. Celebrate those improvements. They may seem small in the moment, but they're signs that your body is responding. And every one of those small wins is proof that you're moving in the right direction. Before we finish today, I want you to remember one simple thing. Strength after 60 isn't about doing complicated workouts. It isn't about trying to look 20 years younger. It's about protecting your freedom. It's about being able to get up from a chair without struggle. Carry your own groceries. Walk with confidence. Live life on your own terms. Today we talked about 2 simple exercises. Wall push-ups to help rebuild upper body strength, improve posture, and make everyday tasks easier. And sit-to-stands to strengthen the legs, improve balance, and help maintain the independence that so many people fear losing as they get older. They may seem simple, but don't underestimate what they can do when practiced consistently. Here's my challenge for you. Don't wait until next week. Don't wait until next month. Start today, even if it's just a few repetitions. One small step is always better than no step at all. I'd also love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me which exercise you're going to try first, or share one goal you're working toward. Maybe it's walking with more confidence. Maybe it's keeping up with your grandkids. Whatever it is, you're not alone on this journey. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the Senior Health channel and turn on notifications. We're here every week sharing practical, science-based tips to help you stay strong, active, and independent. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I truly appreciate it. I wish you continued strength, better health, steady balance, and many happy years ahead. Remember, getting older does not mean giving up. It means learning how to keep moving forward in a smarter way. Take care of yourself, keep believing in your potential, and keep showing the world what's possible after 60. I'll see you in the next video.